Hey guys, Metal War Guide here, and I have another installment of the Vinyl Hunter. I was out and about yesterday. Went over to a friend of mine who sells vinyl and found some gems from the 60s, 70s, maybe a couple into the 80s. And I'm not going to go into detail on a lot of these albums, but I'm going to show you what I have gotten. So anyway, let's start it off first. Band called Krabby Appleton and Rotten to the Core. This came out in 1971 on Elektra Records. This is their second album. Very, very good shape. It's got a little bump out here, which is very cool. Just some kind of a bluesy hard rock, but very good album. So anyway, at number one, Krabby Appleton. Number two, this one was actually given to me because I bought so much. Did not hurt the band ever before. These guys, band called Clear Light from 1967 on the Elektra label. These guys are a more psych oriented rock. It's actually produced by Paul Rothchild. Of course, Paul Rothchild produced mostly all the Doors albums, so if he produced this, should be very, very good. Anyway, here's Clear Light. Up next, I passed on this a few times at other shops, but I finally picked it up. Got a decent price for it. Talking about Uriah Heep, High and Mighty from 1976 on Bronze Records. And slowly starting to build my Uriah Heep collection. Of course, this is with David Byron on vocals, John Wetton bass, Lee Kerslake drums, Mick Box guitar, and Ken Hensley on keyboards and organ. So finally picked up some more Uriah Heep. Up next, band called Naz and Naz 3. Came out in 1971 on the Atlantic Records label. Of course, this is with Todd Rundgren. And of course, we all know Todd Rundgren. And it is on the SGC label. Most of these are all originals except for a couple that were reissues. So I'm happy to have a lot of these on original vinyl. So another nice addition to the 60s, 70s album collection, Naz 3. Up next, I was going through his vinyl and I came across this. I've never seen this. It is a bootleg, and I'm talking about Sweet Lou. Of course, Walking on LA's Wild Side, 12/1/1976. It is put out by United Records. And as you can see, first looked at it, I couldn't see no vinyl grooves, but both sides are just one continuous play. I think one is 29 minutes in length, and the other side is also 29 minutes. So you can fit about as much on here as you could possibly get without going over. So anyway, a bootleg of Lou Reed. Very cool edition. And I've seen this. Cover's not bad. It's got a promo sticker on it, and it's got a little bad spot up here in the corner, but Hawkwind. And I'm talking about Pork, Stranges, and Charm from 1977 on the Charisma Records, or Sire Records. And very good edition. But anyway, of course, writing on the inner cover here. can see the yellow Sire Records label. Slowly building my Hawkwind collection back up again. So I don't see this very often, so I grabbed it. I think I paid $1 for this. So ready to go. Up next, and when I seen this and what kind of condition this was in, it was a no-brainer, and I'm talking about an original copy of Big Brother and the Holding Company for 1967 on the Mainstream record label. It is an original press. Cover's in very good shape, front and back. The vinyl is in very good shape. Of course, again, the Mainstream Records label. So I was very happy to see this. There's another copy I seen, but this was probably the other cover was more yellowish, so it had been exposed to probably more sunlight, whereas this one was not. And I've always loved Big Brother and the Holding Company, but this is a very good find for me. I did not have this one ever, so I'm glad to get this. Up next, kind of a blind buy. I bought it just because of the cover. Of course, it is psych. Been buying a lot of psych music lately from the 70s, from the 60s, and I'm talking about the Alan Bound Band. This, of course, is from, let's see, I believe this is from 68, 67, if I'm not mistaken. They're from England, definitely have psych influences. A blind buy on the Music Factory Records label. So you never see these at all. And my friend had a lot of stuff I wanted to get, but I kind of put a limit on what I wanted to spend, and I spent exactly what I put the limit on. And I picked up some good stuff. The vinyls and the covers for the most part are in good to very good shape. But anyway, here is the Alan Bound Band. Up next, I did not have this. I do have, I think, a couple other Baker Gurvitz Army albums. I got their self-titled one, and I got Elasian Encounters. I do not believe I had this, which is Hearts on Fire. Of course, if you don't know who Baker Gurvitz Army is, of course, the Ginger Baker drums, Paul and Adrian Gurvitz on guitars and bass, and Snips on lead vocals. This is on Atco Records, and this one came out in 1976. And the inner, of course, the yellow Atco label. So I'm getting close to having all the Baker Gurvitz Armies on vinyl. Of course, this one is a cutout, but still not bad shape. There's a little ring wear, which I'm not going to complain about. So anyway, Baker Gurvitz Army, Hearts on Fire. Up next, another edition. I do have a, I can't remember the other one, was Swamp something. Anyway, this is the Flock self-titled album. This is from, I believe, 1970, if I'm not mistaken. Actually, 69. This is in 1969. And I had the one after this. And this is on, let's see, what label is this on? Columbia Records, actually. This is an original. Let's see if I can get this out of here. First, you get the inner. Like I say, sometimes I just hate trying to get these back in here sometimes because they do not want to go in there half the time. But anyway, It is an original. It is on the red Columbia label. So a very nice edition, another Flock album. Like I say, the cover's not bad shape. Vinyl's not in bad shape. So nice edition. And I just want to mention that what's playing in the background is, if you think it's King Diamond, it's not. It's a band called The Attic. And The Invocation. Very, very close to King Diamond. And it's on Band Records. So very, very cool stuff. And then these are reissues. I did not have these. I finally found them. Pink Floyd, Obscured by Clouds, reissue from I believe this is 1970. I think these were issued in 1974. And so they're on the Harvest label. So I was happy to find this one. And then number 2 was also Pink Floyd, Adam Hart Mother Gatefold edition, also from 74 reissue, Gatefold. So I was happy to find some older Pink Floyd. Up next, I did not have this. I had a lot of their CDs. I have a couple of the vinyls, but I did not have this Trapeze featuring Glenn Hughes with The Final Swing. Of course, this is with Glenn Hughes bass, Mel Galley guitars, Dave Holland drums, and basically they were a 3-piece. Medusa, first Trapeze, great album, one of my all-time favorite albums from 1969. Of course, this one was issued in 1974, and great album on the Threshold Records label. As you can see, it's a division of London Records. So I'm happy to get this. A lot of these Trapeze are hard to come by as well, but glad I got this Trapeze, The Final Swing. Up next, I used to have this in my collection years and years ago. I finally found a very, very decent copy of this. I'm talking about Roy Buchanan and Dancing on the Edge on Alligator Records from 1986. Of course, Roy Buchanan later died. I think it was in the mid-90s he passed away. Phenomenal blues guitar player. Of course, this has Delbert McClinton on vocals, Donald Kinsey guitars, Morris Jennings on drums, and of course the Green Alligator Records label. Of course, Alligator known for blues artists. And one of my all-time favorite Roy Buchanan albums is Loading Zone, with this phenomenal version of Green Onions. Just absolutely massive track by Roy Buchanan. My all-time favorite Roy Buchanan, but here is some Roy Buchanan Dancing on the Edge from 1986. Up next, I knew this was going to be old, and it is old, of course, and it is more Psych, a band called Circus Maximus. This came out in 1967, and Jerry Jeff Walker on guitar and vocals. So this is definitely, this is Psych, early Psych from 67, like I say, cut out, which doesn't bother me. You're never going to see these hardly. And if you do, they're probably going to be way up there in price. So anyway, here is some Circus Maximus with their self-titled. And this is on the Vanguard Records. Let's see, I believe that's what it is. Yes, it is on Vanguard. An original. Good shape. Circus Maximus. Get down here to a few, and then I see these. I passed on them before, but I got a decent price for these. Talking about Bebop's Deluxe and Axe Victim from 1974 on EMI Records. They're kind of a proggy rock, hard rock in that vein. And but I was glad I finally picked this up. In addition, he also had this one here, and not as good as their earlier stuff, but still I picked it up because I got a decent price for it. Bebop Deluxe and Drastic Plastic from 1978 on Capitol Records, EMI Limited Records, and so I picked it up. I think I paid $2 for this. Cover's in not bad shape, vinyl's in not bad shape. But anyway, Bebop Deluxe, Drastic Plastic. And I think I seen Steve show this on a couple of his videos, and so I told him if I see it I'd pick it up, and I did. So thank you. I'm down to about 3 left. I don't see this very often. Even back in the day when I was buying vinyl and talking about Webb Wilder and the Beatniks, and the album that came from Nashville, kind of a I don't know how to say, maybe a little punk influence, Billy Rock, I don't know, but I've always liked Webb Wilder. And this came out in 1986 on Racket Records, or Landslide Records. So a nice addition, and happy to find this. Paid $1 for this, so I couldn't pass it up. I think they had one radio hit back in the day. I can't remember what it was, but I liked what I heard, and so I finally got this. Down to last 2, and I don't see hardly any of this guy's stuff around. I've always liked his guitar playing. He's one of the true legends of the blues world that is still with us. He's played with B.B. King. He's played with Howlin' Wolf. He's played with Albert Collins. Just massive history with this guy and the old legends, and I'm talking about Buddy Guy and Stone Crazy. Also on Alligator Records from 1981, of course. This also is the green label Alligator. Of course, Alligator's out of Chicago. And I seen this, no brainer, had to pick it up. I do have Buddy Guy on CD, but I did not have any Buddy Guy on vinyl, so I had to pick it up. Good stuff. Last one. Huge fan of this guitarist. Of course, he now plays with Bruce Springsteen and the E Street Band. He has for a number of years. His early material from the 60s, his first band was Grin, and then he went solo, and I'm talking about Nils Lofgren and Flip. The first Nils Lofgren ever heard was Cry Tough, one of my favorite Nils Lofgren albums. The Grin material is very similar, and this is from 1985 on CBS Records. Very good album, very good shape, of course. There's Nils Lofgren there. If you've never heard of Nils Lofgren, definitely check him out. Of course, it's on the Columbia record label. So very good stuff. Check it out. You will not be disappointed. So also, that is all I have for this edition of Vinyl Hunter. I'm going to be going up to Fargo here on Saturday. The shop that I went into last week, Fat Cat Records is having a vinyl sale since it's Memorial Weekend. 20 to 50% off on all of his vinyl, and some of the vinyl I've seen that he's put out is a lot of 70s stuff. So I'm going to go up there and check it out and get as much as I can. So anyway, thanks for tuning in, and this is Metal War God, and thanks for tuning in to another episode of The Vinyl Hunter, and take care everybody, and we'll see you next time.